Hey everyone! With the release of Oz the Great and Powerful last March, I decided to devote the entire month to crappy Wizard of Oz movies. And since this summer we get to enjoy another sequel to a property that I happen to love, allow me to welcome you to Transformers Month. Transformers! And just for the record, no, we're not going to be looking at any of the Michael Bay movies this month. I'm going to say those for every 50th review, so just you keep watching. So, what are we going to watch today then, if not one of the Michael Bay movies? Let's start things off with Transmorphers. Yes, Transmorphers, brought to us by the critically panned movie studio simply known as the Asylum. You may remember them as the people who brought us The Haunting of Whaley House, which was kinda stupid, but I gave it some props because it did end up being scarier than the actual Whaley House, so at least it did what it was supposed to do. And to coincide with the release of the first Bayformers in 2007, of course they had to make their own little movie to confuse people into thinking that their version is the real thing. Our movie opens with a little prologue about an invading alien race of machines from outer space.
In 2009, we discovered life on another planet. A planet 20 million light years away. We sent a message of peace, a message of friendship, and 5 years later, we received their response.
Wow, you're not wasting any time to be complete bullcrap, are ya? We discovered alien life 20 million light years away? In 2009? Last time I checked, the technology available in 2009 didn't let us generate wormholes in time and space that would allow us to explore the furthest reaches of the galaxy in real time. You want to know why scientists spend so much time looking at Mars? Because it's the closest thing we can realistically look at. Even if we picked up an alien radio transmission from a planet 20 million light years away, it's still 20 million light years away. Whatever sent that signal isn't there anymore. It took 20 million years to reach Earth, which means that the aliens who sent it are 20 million years dead, as is their civilization in all probability. And we're trying to send them a message of peace in return? I don't know about you, but I don't think we're going to find anyone on Earth willing to sit by the phone for the next 20 million years waiting for them to call us back. No, make that 40 million years, since it would take 20 million to get there, and another 20 million for their reply to come back to us.
And 5 years later, we received their response.
Oh wait, my mistake. Apparently, we can send a message to a planet 20 million light years away, and make sure that they get it there with plenty of time for the aliens to prepare for invasion and traverse those 20 million light years in only 5 years' time. And you want to know how easy a problem this is to fix? Here, check this out. 5 years ago, we detected objects of alien origin entering our solar system. They said they had come from a planet 20 million light years away. We sent them a message of peace, a message of friendship, but their reasons for coming to our system were not peaceful or friendly. I know you're supposed to be ripping off a Michael Bay movie, but just because Bay thinks his audience are a bunch of idiots, that doesn't mean that you have to as well. And speaking of ripping off Michael Bay movies, these aliens begin their invasion by throwing scenes from Armageddon at us.
Within hours, 90% of the planet's population was destroyed.
The remaining 10% of humanity were safely locked away in their wooden houses. If the movie Signs ever taught us anything, it's that aliens are helpless against wood.
The invaders changed the planet's atmosphere, creating an eternal night. The sun forever covered by the dark clouds.
Okay, so the aliens can change the atmosphere to be whatever they want, and they're not too partial to sunlight. Why don't they just settle on Pluto? But while the movie's busy getting the rest of its science wrong, at least I find the Transmorphers' transformation sequences pretty believable. A twist of a limb here, a flip of a wing there. Voila! Robot mode. Simple and effective, just like how a robot would naturally want to do a job. After the opening credits end with a combined writer, editor, and director credit, truly the mark of quality, we see a handful of human survivors struggling to survive. And of course, the women have to make sure that they're wearing plenty of eye makeup for their survival, don't they? Apparently, the machines are steadily advancing upon them, And no, it's never explained exactly where they are in relation to the machines' cities, or why the machines would find them now and not before, or why the military insists on bickering with the scientists instead of heeding their advice.
And the time for our attack has come.
The military guild exists to protect our way of life, not to organize a mass suicide that will jeopardize everything we have built.
Who do you want there?
All of them.
All of them?
You heard that, idiot. They waste 100 years and can't figure out a way to get us off this rock.
Wait, hang on. They've been underground for 100 years? Guys, you've clearly figured out how to hide from these genocidal machines. Why worry about getting off the planet? Just keep your heads down and stay the course. Oh, and I admit that I'm not the most brilliant strategic thinker, but I would think that if you're of the opinion that your military guild is the only thing protecting your way of life, sending all of your troops into what you yourself deem a suicide mission probably isn't the best battle strategy. Anyway, we see some cannon fodder being debriefed on their next mission objective, which is to get this doctor close enough to one of the machines so that she can extract its primary fuel cell. Yes, apparently their underground society has an educational system where doctorates are still a thing. So they go up to the surface, where not only have the machines altered the atmosphere so that it's constantly nighttime, but constantly raining as well. No, I'm not kidding. It's always raining here. They go back to the surface a few other times later in the movie, and there's never a dry moment. Has it been raining for the last 100 years non-stop? How do we even have a surface world instead of a water world? No, never mind. Forget I said anything. We're already ripping off Transformers. We don't need a water world ripoff too. Let's move on. Actually, hang on a minute. A ragtag band of human survivors trying to rid their world of their robotic overlords? This isn't a Transformers movie, it's a Matrix movie, or a Terminator movie. Where's the good faction of alien robots to protect Earth from the bad ones? That's what makes a Transformers movie, guys. How many other movies or TV shows about invading aliens also had aliens from a different side coming to our aid? None! Great. That's just great. The one thing that separates Transformers from every other sci-fi story out there, and you don't put it in your Transformers ripoff. You fail! Speaking of failing, they get ambushed almost immediately, and the rest of the military guild has to cut off communication with them or else the machines might trace their location. We then see the heads of the military arguing about whether or not they should wake up an old resistance fighter who could somehow fight the machines, aka our Neo for this movie, named Warren Mitchell.
He's perfect and he would want to do it. And the machines can't read his mind like they can most men.
Warren Mitchell is a wild card.
He's ruthless. He's cold. He thinks too much like them, not enough like us.
We cannot trust him.
Warren Mitchell is a traitor.
He's the best!
I was frozen today!
And I'm sorry, but I don't see any of you jumping at the chance at this.
I'm sorry, but who let Raggedy Ann out of her straitjacket? Seriously, look at this gal. She looks like something the nut house just up and forgot about. It's bad enough that she's making her case the same way that the Joker would argue that madness is like gravity, but she's so insane that her madness is actually breaking the fabric of the movie. Can somebody lock her up already? But yeah, they go ahead and wake up this Mitchell guy, who was put into cryogenic sleep probably because of how he was a greater liability than he was an asset. And he and one of his loyal cronies have to bicker for a few minutes about how they're going to do things their own way. Safety of the human survivors be damned. Yeah, never mind how these two parties have the same end game in mind, so what's the point of trying to cooperate with each other? Much better instead to be combative to their superiors, because working together for the sake of keeping civilian casualties to a minimum is for dorks.
Warren, stay away from her. She's made her decision.
Of course. I've only ever wanted her happiness. And if she is happy, so be it.
We were married 3 months after your sentence. Just keep that in mind.
Wow. You don't think you can even hold our attention with the prospect of giant robots blowing crap up, do you, movie? You have to throw a bisexual love triangle at us, just to make sure that we stay long enough to see some possible girl-girl action. That is sad. And again, this just makes me wonder how necessary fighting the machines actually is. Apparently, the quality of life underground isn't so bad that they can't put things on hold just so they can have themselves a decent marriage. And if this is taking place in a state or country where gay marriage was once illegal, the movie never tells us where we are exactly, how bad can things be since they obviously set aside some time to change that? You'd really think that stopping the machines would be a higher priority than legalizing gay marriages, right?
This doesn't look good.
You're telling me. The hallways look really nice, but the rooms where most of the movie is taking place in look really cheap. Talk about confused set design. Anyway, we get a really forced demonstration of how this Mitchell guy is a badass as he orders his troops to take him down.
Hit me. The rest of you, hit me!
Come on, stop trying to hit me and hit me!
And of course, they all fail except for the 98-pound supermodel. Look, I know there's a desire to make female characters as capable as men, but one girl succeeds where all these guys fail when there's been no indication that she's had more advanced or specialized training or anything? Sorry, but I'm not buying it. And for that matter, if our one man for the job is taken down this easily by this girl here, who, by the way, has a penchant for actually following orders, why not just make her take the charge in stopping the machines?
She stays. Everyone else, dismissed.
Great. All the machines need to do now is focus on this one girl, then your entire army is destroyed. Nice move there.
We need more volunteers.
Is this off the record?
Yes, very much off the record.
Now, violating the direct order and inspiring others to do the same. Now, isn't that precisely the reason why me and you got turned into ice cubes in the first place?
Itchy. Orders were made to be eaten before the main course. Good. Oh, and Itchy.
Yeah.
Please, get me some smokes.
I'll let you know if I find some.
Yes, ignoring orders and encouraging others to ignore orders too. Clearly this guy thinks just like the machines. And apparently the tobacco industry is in full swing in spite of the robot apocalypse. And so Itchy goes out to get more volunteers, which means one or two more hot chicks, who, again, have no special skills that we're aware of outside of having lady parts. Apparently the best way to outthink the machines is to think with your dicks.
Permission to break direct orders and cause mass destruction, sir.
Permission denied. Can somebody escort the patchwork girl here off the set, please? We then have Steve Jobs explaining their mission, which involves retrieving one of the machines, and uploading into it a program that will cause a chain reaction that will shut down all the other machines when it reaches their central mainframe. So yes, we are now seeing a combined ripoff of Independence Day and Star Wars Episode 1. Oh, what I wouldn't give to watch Episode 1 right about now.
Karina. What a pleasant surprise. Spying on us, are you? Do us a favor. Save your court-martial bullshit.
Okay, exactly how did the remaining 10% of the human race survive for 100 years when everyone is constantly getting up in everyone else's grill? Every line of dialogue in this movie is sarcastic, head-waggling snark that in the real world would have a 95% chance of getting you at least one good punch in the face. And of course, Karina here is the wife of that general we saw earlier, and she wants to join with Mitchell's troops as well. Nice to know where your loyalties lie. Oh, and because following Mitchell is the only way to guarantee the machines' destruction, naturally that means that none of his new volunteers will be coming back alive, so these other officers feel justified in looting their stuff before they even leave. How the hell did these people not just eat each other generations ago?
I will not tolerate this. This war has been going on for hundreds of years, and we just now decided to fight it today.
How do you have a war for hundreds of years, and you're only just now starting to fight it? And first they say it's 100 years, now they're saying hundreds of years? Good to know that people in the future still apparently know how calendars work. Oh, by the way, this movie is so inept that it can't even do a simple cat fight properly. No clothes ripping, no sexually suggestive grunts and screams. How do you mess this up? Later, we see Steve Jobs showing off an android that he reverse engineered from the machines' technology. And of course, I'm sure he had purely scientific reasons for making her a sexy redhead, right?
Say, Doc. When I get back, do you think you can build one for me?
Why, of course I can spend more time, energy, and resources on building you a sex bot. I mean, it's not like we have an abundance of hot chicks running around or anything, right?
She looks so real.
Well, it's great, isn't it? All synthetic?
How many of these things have you got?
Just her, and one other one, but that didn't turn out quite the way I wanted it.
Oh no, a failure?
Of sorts.
Yes, it really does suck that we're never gonna see this other android again. Hey, why don't we go see what that one guy who thinks just like the machines is doing? He and his troops go up to the surface, and one battle scene with more poorly integrated CGI later, they manage to capture one of the machines. And of course, these deadly machines who have wiped out 90% of humanity in a couple of hours can be easily taken down with glowing frisbees. Oh jeez, will you stop with the whole split screen thing already? Having both images on screen for only a few frames doesn't mean anything more than if you simply cut to the next scene. How would it look if I started doing this in my reviews? It's just pointless! Karina and this other girl fly off to the central mainframe, for some reason, and the other troops start to implant their shutdown program into the captured machine, which is accomplished just by waving around a couple of screwdrivers and a power drill in its general vicinity. But because this technology is way over their heads, yet they're still able to build perfect human replicas based on their technology somehow, they end up killing it by mistake. And now let us observe a moment of silence as we mourn the passing of our movie's most beloved character. They get the idea to implant the reprogrammed fuel cell into another robot, but where are they going to find another robot to do that before the other machines close in on them?
The plan was to build an ultimate soldier, a machine to fight the machines.
Stronger than any human, full of resolve, averse to fear.
As a machine, it would be impervious to their brain scans. I'm a perfectionist. I made you too human. I gave you the ability to feel, care, love. And most importantly, I gave you the one desire that the machines have stripped away from humanity. I made a machine that could hope, a machine that could dream.
Dun dun dun! This is bullcrap! So you made a robot that was so perfect that not only could it think and feel for itself, but it's also built with perfect human attributes so that it had no reason to think that it was anything but human. I guess it bled the last time it tripped on a rock and skid its knee. Does it eat food like we humans do? Well, that can't be, since this other robot apparently doesn't drink anything. Did it never stop to wonder why it only has a few years worth of memories when most adult humans have a couple of decades worth? Why did they put it into cryogenic freezing when all they needed to do was to turn it off? Hell, why did they even freeze it in the first place if it was guilty of treason? That sounds like grounds for dismantling to me. Does it wake up and have to deal with morning breath and or wood? They also established that Mitchell has some romantic history with Karina, and I can only assume that they were both nailing each other in some capacity. Was he made to be so perfect that she had to worry about protection or keeping a box of Kleenex on her nightstand? Is he so perfect that he lasts as long as she wants him to last? Or is he so perfect that he sometimes suffers from erectile dysfunction or premature ejaculation to further sell him as a regular, imperfect human? Does he need to deal with trimming his nails or cutting his hair like everyone else? Why does he have a Scottish accent when everyone else around him sounds American? Also, his defining character trait is that he's unpredictable, that he can't be counted on to follow orders. You know, there's a word for robots who are just that faulty.
Junk! That's what you are! Junk!
Oh, and by the way, the entire movie has been shoving this idea down our throats that this guy is cold and ruthless, that he thinks just like the machines. But now they want us to believe that he's so perfectly human that he can inspire hope and love in his fellow man? Well done, movie. You're doing such a good job of ripping off Bayformers that you've completely forgotten how character traits are supposed to work. So they give Mitchell the reprogrammed fuel cell, which will also kill him along with the rest of the machines, and I guess we're supposed to feel sad about this for some reason. And they all go out to upload their death program. Wait, why are all these guys going with him? I thought the idea was that Mitchell knew how to walk among the machines without them noticing him. How is bringing along a bunch of easily detectable humans gonna help? The machines converge on the Army's position, or maybe it's the Army converging on them? I don't know. And Mitchell and his troops are dropped off before they could reach the mainframe. So they had to get there on Imperial speeder bikes.
Hit it! We're almost there!
They're shooting at us!
I had no idea that these alien death machines who have wiped out most of our race would be so hostile! They set off some kind of super powerful electromagnet to disable the machines, which I guess they're only now remembering that they had all this time. But these two robots did not get trapped by the magnets somehow, and they blow up Karina.
Where's Nadir? Where's Nadir?
Over there, and up there.
No, she's actually just fine. I didn't know that burning alive was something that you can just walk off. So they make it to the central mainframe, but then the mainframe itself turns into a giant Transmorpher too. And because this movie doesn't know how to make the big reveal of a robot the size of a building dramatic, I will now provide the appropriate music. And of course, it's absolutely essential for the mainframe to transform into a giant robot so it can, just stand there and do nothing. Well, that did a lot, right? Mitchell goes to set off the death program in his fuel cell, and of course we have to get a tearful goodbye from Karina. Don't know why she's giving him a tearful goodbye, since he's already been dead for the last 5 years, and she's happily moved on since then, and he manages to upload the program and shut off the machines. Though, looking at this imagery, maybe he actually killed them all by taking a huge dump on the mainframe's central processor or something. So Mitchell's sacrifice saves humanity, Karina and the General get back together, they briefly rip off the end of Return of the Jedi, and the movie ends with that one chick we know nothing about gazing into a fresh, clear sky. Because centuries of atmospheric reformatting can be reversed that easily, I guess. So that was Transmorphers, and me oh my is this a bad one. I can forgive the crappy special effects and lackluster action scenes, since I know that not every movie can have hundreds of millions of dollars to throw at it. I also find it interesting that the lesbians in this movie are written as conventionally as any heterosexual couple instead of just making them an excuse to throw in a softcore girl-girl porn scene. But those elements don't save this movie from its liberal use of science, confusing character development, cliched plot points backed by subpar acting, inconsistent world building, and worst of all, it completely misses the point of what the Transformers are supposed to be. They should have just named this movie Terminatrix or something. At least that would be more accurate. But on the other hand, since it is just this terrible, you can't say it didn't do a good job of ripping off Bayformers, right? See you next time in our next installment of Transformers Month.
Subscribe, like, follow, comment, share, watch more.